Hi, this is Petroline from Explosive Minds. And if you are new to my channel, I'm a mental performance coach working specifically with high performers in the area of sports and business. Now, I'm busy with a series on NLP meta models or language patterns, which is also a terminology or a phrase that is used frequently out there. And today I want to talk about presuppositions. Now, what exactly is a presupposition? As you can sort of derive from the name, it is something that we presuppose that is true. Now, it doesn't need to be something that is like the holy grail. If you do not believe it, then there's a problem or an issue. It's just you believe it, and if it doesn't come true or it doesn't happen like that, it's okay, no big deal. But you can also see it sort of as attitudes that you live by. Attitudes that you apply to your life every single day. Now, there's about a dozen of these NLP presuppositions, and you can actually decide which one you want to use, which ones do you want to chuck, and because some of them will resonate better with you and others won't resonate as much with you. And that's the beauty of NLP, because you can use the techniques that will work for you in your life, whether it's your career, whether it's in sports, business, and some of the other techniques might not be so useful for you. But what I can say is that it doesn't help you just to listen to my video today. It doesn't help you if you're on audio just to listen to my audio today. You really have to practice these techniques every single day like you would have practiced anything else. If you had to study for a high school subject or a varsity subject, you would have sat down and studied that content. This is exactly the same. Now, we all experience life through our five senses. Now, I spoke about this before in a previous video as well. And the way that has an impact, what determines what the impact of all of these environmental sensations are or impacts are, and also people that influence us, that all, it's almost like it creates a lens through which you see life in your mind. So all of these experiences will determine or create a specific lens through which you will see life. Now, that's why you can have two people that grew up in the same household. One is extremely optimistic, happy-go-lucky, they got the same education, grew up with the same parents, but the other one is pessimistic and this and that. It's because their filter, the information came through their different filters, and everyone interpreted and processed the information, the environment, the people around them differently. Now, what you really want to do is if you find yourself in a situation where you like this content, whatever the case might be, you have a problem, negative, you really want to change that filter, which is so easy to do with some of the NLP techniques that I do teach sports individuals and business people. Now, you cannot control your environment, but yes, the beauty of this is you can control how you're going to process that information. And if that alone is one thing that you can control, boy oh boy, can you just absolutely imagine what future you can create for yourself. Because a lot of people fall victim to the environment and people that influence them without them even realizing it, that they can't control that. But what they can control is how they internalize and process that information, and subsequently what behavior or what their personality will end up to be, or what their attitudes will end up to be. Okay, so today I want to talk about two presuppositions. The one is choice is better than no choice. Now you might say, duh, I knew that. But really, do you really live by that? Really ask yourself that honest question. Here's what happens when we find ourselves in a stressful situation, or in a high stress or anxiety for that matter, in such a situation, is your mind automatically, and this is a survival instinct, we all have that, your mind focuses and zeroes in and zone in on one specific thing. And that is why it is so difficult for somebody that's in a stressful situation to see all of the options, right? So that is something that your mind automatically do. Now, you can teach your mind to get out of that, because all of that, the moment you get in a stressful situation, happens in your subconscious mind. So what you want to do is you have that particular pattern that surfaces the moment you are in a stressful situation. Now, what you can do is you can teach your mind something else through repetition. First, you learn a new thing and then you repeat it over and over. And this is extremely useful, especially if you want to build confidence. And this is what this video is all about today, is to really build that confidence so that you don't find yourself in situations where you feel that you're just not confident enough to do something. Now, the first thing for this specifically, the one thing you can do is you have to stop and ask yourself, what options do I have available? And it's something consciously you have to do. You have to force yourself, and if it means that you have to sit down, if it means you have to sit down and you have to write down on a piece of paper, these are all the options that I have, then you have to do that. You do not necessarily have to like all the options. That's one of the biggest problems that people make, is they want to only write down the options that they like, the options they think will work. You have to brainstorm everything. And if you have to call in resources to come and help you brainstorm, hell yeah, do that, because that will open up your mind to other possibilities. So write on a piece of paper. It might not be logistically something that is possible. It doesn't matter. What you are doing by doing that is you are changing the connections in your brain that is forcing you into a path where you zone in on one thing when you are stressed. It wants to change that neural pathway to a pathway where the first thing that comes to mind when you find yourself in a stressful situation is to open up all the possibilities that there might be out there. And automatically, your mind will start to see all of the things out there. Now, people that live in this mindset that there is nothing else, there's no other option, that mindset comes from a place of scarcity. If you can teach your mind that there's all of the, or look for all of the options out there that's available out there, then you come from a place of abundance. And now you teach your mind and you teach your body and your soul to, by default, look for all of the options of abundance that is out there. We have an internal instinct, again, our reptilian brain. The one thing it wants to do is it wants to stay away from pain, and it wants to gravitate towards pleasure. That's a natural thing for your mind to do. And when people talk about something in the context of pain, especially money, it will pull money away from you, and it will pull you away from money. If you talk about money in the context of abundance, there are all of these options. Gosh, I lost my job. I don't have confidence to go for this interview. But when you teach your mind to look for all of these options, it will gravitate the abundance towards you. Okay. The second thing I want to talk to you about, I have to have my notes. Otherwise, I'll just ramble on. Failure, there is no such thing as failure. There's only feedback. Now, failure, interestingly enough, is a concept that was created by a human being. It's not a tangible thing. It's not something physical you can touch. It's just because somebody created a standard that if you don't meet the standard, you failed. So somebody came up with this concept about failure. Now, failure implies judgment. Failure tells you, it's done, there's nothing else, you've arrived at your destination, there's nothing else, full stop, that's the end. Whereas feedback is simply feedback from the environment that tells you something. Now you can take that feedback, you can change and mold and massage your strategy and go forward from there. And that's the big difference between failure and feedback. This is one of the most powerful things you can also teach your kids, especially kids that struggle with confidence and self-confidence. Teach them from an early age that feedback is way more superior than failure, whether you've succeeded at something or whether you failed at something. Now, what makes it worse is if we attach failure to our self-worth. And I'm pretty sure you've done that, I have done that, where you've attached that outcome of something to who you are. I did not meet this criteria, so I am useless. I didn't get this job, so I am not good enough. I can't do this work, type of thing. So now you attach the outcome of the failure to your self-worth, and that is where people start with self-doubt issues, low self-esteem, low confidence, and that's really, you do not even want to go there, although I know a lot of people are already there. But you see the pattern here, and you probably can see the pattern of how to get out of that. Now, if you think about children, children are not born this way. Children are not born with when they want to achieve a goal with failure or success in mind. They just do it. They just stand up. If a child wants to learn to walk, they just stand up and they do it. If they fall down, they stand up again and they do it. If a child wants to fetch something on a cupboard, right? And we've all seen this. They very quickly figure out what they need to do to reach something on top of a cupboard. If they had to think about like, gosh, I have to walk now. I'm 1 year old. I have to walk. If I don't do this perfectly the first time, I am just useless. No child has ever thought that. If that was the case, we would have all still been in diapers. We would have all still crawled around. But as we grow up, we unlearn that ability to use feedback from our environment to make changes to what our goals and what it is that we want to achieve. Because now we've attached the goal to the outcome and not our behavior and the process anymore. And now we've attached it to our self-worth. If the outcome is good or bad, we feel happy. If it's great, we feel sad if it's not great. And that's really not where you want to end up. So, and it's such a hard burden for you to carry your self-worth, to carry actually when you attach your self-worth to the outcome of that goal. And just let it go. Let it go. It's not, don't attach who you are to whatever it is that you are currently busy with, let alone the outcome. If you can teach yourself to do that, use these two concepts, take 30 days consistently every single day, especially around this last one. Sit down at the end of the day and you have to teach yourself to catch yourself out when your mind goes into that flow of, oh gosh, I'm such a failure, I have no confidence, I want to be able to do this, and blah, 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 blah. And now you feel bad, you feel negative. And you have to identify those situations throughout the day so that you can get your mind out of that and force yourself to sit down, write down, but what is the feedback that I'm getting from the environment? This thing didn't work. So what is the feedback that I got from the people and the environment around me? Okay, this person couldn't see the blue on the presentation. This person said I spoke too fast. Okay, so maybe I should slow down. This person said I looked around as if I was not interested when I gave the presentation. Okay, so maybe I need to focus on looking the people in the eye, type of thing. And that's the things that you want to focus on. So 2 things. Get all the options that are out there and you can choose how you look at the results that you get. If you practice these 2 concepts, I promise you your life will change in 30 days. So please let me know in the comment section what you're up to and how you've applied this in your life. And I'll see you in the next video. Bye.